Good afternoon. I don't know if it's a privilege or commiseration to be the new convener, so a lot of responsibility on one shoulder. Today is a prime example of that. It's also a bit sad really because one of us is not here today, Ken, and for most of the folk that come for the event don't really appreciate the amount of work that Ken actually did put into the event. He usually was behind the scenes, but that's it's not the case this year. So it's a wee bit harder for us to do this without thinking about Ken. So I hope when we have our minute silence later on, we keep that in our thoughts because he was an important part of the beginnings of this event. That's over the last few years has grown thanks to the people like Gordon and William and the other guys you see kitted up here today. For me, Falkirk's always going to be a kind of soft spot, if you will, in a sense. It's where I'm from. Falkirk's it's a great town in my mind, and it's got a lot of history that goes unnoticed. And the story around Wallace in particular, for if it wasn't what happened here at Falkirk, Wallace's life might have been completely different. Sir John de Graham in question goes pretty much unnoticed. We're doing a lot of work to try and promote that, but he was Wallace's closest friend, his best friend if you will, and he lost him here along with Macduff Fife and John Stewart. These were the core men in his inner circle, and John de Graham himself rescued Wallace on 3 separate occasions. So the question that we need to ask ourselves when we leave here is, if Graham had survived Falkirk, would William Wallace have been captured at Rob Royston? And the simple answer is John de Graham would never have let that happen. So Falkirk is pivotal for the Scottish history cause in that period. It taught us lessons and it hit us sore in the heart. We're losing so many folk, in particular the 600 men from Bute who chose to stand their ground, and for that they lost all their lives, none of them returned back home. So it's quite important that we remember the Battle of Falkirk. It may have been a defeat, but it is an important part of our history and one that we need to remember, because the blood that was spilled that day is just as important as the blood that was spilled at Stirling and at Bannockburn. So I hope you all go away and remember that, and maybe one day we'll find the battle site and we can pay our full respects to the men that fought and died on that day on the battlefield itself. Thank you.